Hello everyone, Storm 101 here. Today we'll be taking a look into the tropics here. Starting to get just a little bit active, just a little bit. Not a whole lot, but just a little bit active here. We're going to go ahead and get started with the National Hurricane Center. We got three areas to watch here. Now, we're going to be only focused on two areas. I'm not really worried about this area here, just off the coast of Texas. And as you can see, there a very low chance, 10%, for the next 2 days and for the 5 days. Two areas I want to keep an eye on is this one and this one right here. Now I think the better advantage out of one of these here could be this one, but after we get to some model data and stuff, it could be this one. So equaling things out, really, we need to watch between these two. So the National Hurricane Center with this one here, which is just off the coast of Cuba, you can see there they have a 20% chance in the next 48 hours or 2 days, and a 30% chance for the next 5 days. Now it's also the next 2 days and 5 days is a 20% for this disturbance right here. Now we're going to look at my forecast first, and this is my thoughts on the situation here. So we'll start off with this one here that has probably a better chance of developing than the other one, and as you can see for the next 2 days, it's a pretty low end 20% chance. Uh, Probably not going to develop in the next 2 days, but the 5 days it I believe has a better advantage. A 50% chance for the next 5 days here. In these areas here, the red does have the threat for this tropical system to affect, which is anywhere from the Mississippi Alabama state line, even goes into New Orleans, uh, Lake Charles. I think that's what it's called. Yeah, Lake Charles. And really, these generate most of the Gulf Coast of Texas as well, in Louisiana, even for the coast of Mississippi. Those will be the areas we'll be keeping an eye on. It's really going to depend on this Bermuda high, but as of right now, good checking balls to show it it'll probably be going to at least one of these states here. So we're going to keep an eye on that. And for this one right here, I have a 30% chance for the next 2 days and 5 days at this time here. And I'm going to show you guys why on these here. So we're going to take a look into a few models here. We're going to start off with the European model here. Now, this is why I disagree with the most here. You can see here, it kind of dies out a little bit. You can tell it's still sticking around. Now, this could be due to some dry air, which is possible. You can see here, it comes back up again Wednesday. And here we are getting into Thursday here. It's kind of still sticking around. Then it kind of loses its moisture here. Now, again, it may be due to some dry air. Maybe not so much of the wind shear. If we kind of take a look into the wind shear with this here, you can say there's not a lot of wind shear going on up in the atmosphere. Really lower the numbers, the better. Higher the numbers, really high numbers can really mess up the tropical system. So that's not really why. Wind shear is not looking to be a big deal uh, with this system here, but I think it may be due to for some dry air. Now, let's take a look. Actually, let's take a look at this other system as well for the Gulf Coast. Now, you can see here. Here it comes right here, going past the Key West. It just doesn't really show it. Here it is right here. Very broad, low, pretty disorganized here. Kind of pops up a little bit there, but very overall pretty disorganized low. That may be again to maybe some dry air. Another factor could be his wind shear, which I actually really haven't taken a look into that yet. And you know what? There is some wind shear going on with this system here, so that's probably going to be the cause of that for the European model with that system. Let's move on to the GFS model. This is for wind shear here. Higher the numbers, they'll bring in good news. But lower the numbers, more bad news, just to put it in a different way. So let's focus on this in this Gulf system here. And as you can see here, it's actually hard to tell where it is here just by looking at this here. Probably at this time it'd be like around there somewhere. As we kind of continue on, you can see here, there it is right there. Kind of, that may be it. You can see there, then it kind of makes landfall there. But the European model is much slower, but there's a lot of uncertainty here as right now. So there's a little bit of wind shear going on there, just a little bit, but as it kind of gains rate, there's a little bit more wind shear to deal with. But we're gonna see about that. So there's a lot of uncertainties on the timing between GFS and the European model. And let's go to the system out into the Central Atlantic, um, the tropical Atlantic. Back this up here so we'll be able to see it. So let this load in. So here you go here. So your system at this point here would be like right here. As you can see there, you can see here how that kind of continues on. Then really it does hit some wind shear going on here. Yeah, as you can see there, hit some wind shear with that. Let's take a look into something else here. Let's take a look into the moisture. And as you can see here, it does have some moisture with it, but it hits some of this pretty dry air, at least on the south side. It hits some of that dry air, it kind of dissipates. It may have a better advantage later on. You can see here there's a little bit more moisture with it later on. So we're going to see about that. Let's kind of move on to a different region. Let's go back to the Western Atlantic. Let's take a look into this other system. If this here could load in. So I can see here at this point here, it's right over here. As we continue on, it doesn't really have no problem with dry air. You can see here how it kind of goes on there. So there's no problem with the dry air uh, with this type of situation here for the low that'll be going into the Gulf there. Now let's move on to some other models here. So here's the track of the for this system here, Invest 99L. We cannot take a look into the other system because the National Hurricane Center is not made official of making it like an invest yet. So, but this system here is, at least that's what the National Hurricane is calling it for. So this is the only system we can, uh, uh, this is the system out into the tropical Atlantic area. And as you can see, a pretty good agreement with the track. Some other models have it like north, like the European model, for example, a little bit further up north. So there's not really too much of a problem with that. Let's go back down here. And that's the Invest 90L. The system we're not really worried about with that one. So now here's the intensity guidance here. Now ignore these models right here. Pay attention to the models where there's a better agreement. And as you can see, it does stay below tropical storm status. However, it is in kind of a tropical depression type of thing. So ignore this model here going to category 2, highly doubted with this system, highly doubt become a category 1, and I have doubts of becoming a tropical storm. You can see here, overall, most of the models are keeping this down as more of a tropical depression. With Invest 99L here. Now, let's talk about a little bit about the waters here. As you can see here, the water is extremely warm. I mean, extremely warm. Even some of off the coast, off of some of these areas like around Cuba. Now, keep in mind, this is in Celsius. You got some areas reaching 30 to 31 degrees Celsius, which is equivalent to nearly 90 degrees in Fahrenheit. Now, generally, this is about 84 to 86 degrees in Fahrenheit, maybe even 88 for a few areas. So there's not really much of a problem, but really in the future, some of these areas here will still be warming, especially in the main development region, which is right in here. You do have some cooler temperatures and are going on, but still, if you look into, the Western Atlantic, the Gulf of Mexico, the Caribbean Sea area, even for the southeast coast, I mean, it is extremely warm, and this is something we're going to keep an eye on for later in the hurricane season. So, yeah, this is pretty much all I got for you guys today. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this, little bit of a tropical update here. Not really too big of a deal at this time here. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention about something here. Let's back this off here. One thing I forgot to mention about is Invest uh 99L. You can also see here in the satellite here, it's still kind of disorganized at this time. Your low will be like right in there, so we're gonna see about that. Um, let's take a look into some of these other models here. This is the CMC guidance here. As you can see here, doesn't really become much of anything, but look what happens later on with the same system. You can see here, some of these members continuing into the Caribbean. And you can see here in the drops in pressure here, like this one here, for example, it's in the yellows and oranges, which I think could indicate a tropical storm, maybe even a hurricane there. But you can see there some of these model members, kind of take it to the Caribbean Sea area and even for the Gulf of Mexico, and even want to go into the southeast. Now, we don't know where it's going to go yet, but it's where it's going is going over very warm water, so we're going to have to keep an eye on it. And what we do not know that far out yet is how much wind shear there will be, and also as well as for uh, wind shear and the moisture with that, or lack of moisture, I should say, or dry air. You can see here, this is a GFS, very similar, more into the Gulf, so we're going to keep an eye on this. This will likely change, but that is something to really mention about with this 99L. It may die out before it gets to these islands right here, but it might come back later in the future. But this could change, but we'll see what happens about that. But anyways, guys, this is all I got for you guys today. Hope you guys did enjoy this tropical update. If you guys did like this video, hit that like button. If you really do like my channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notifications so you never miss an upload. If you guys have questions about this, you can put a comment section down below. I will answer you guys' questions. I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.